Hey church, it's Pastor Jacob with today's devotion. I am back at work this week. Pastor Jen continues her parental leave for a little while. And I thought for this week's devotion, I might have the newest addition to our family, Clementine, join me. We have just been thrilled to be able to spend these last 4 weeks together. And honestly, it's been kind of just survival mode. And I've been telling people that parenthood has been a really humbling experience so far. Everyone warned us of, the sleepless nights and all different challenges that would come with it. And I just felt, since we've been wanting this for so long and since we are starting parenthood a little older, like we've got this, no big deal, no problem. But the challenges have been real, and the midnight feedings, the 3 a.m. feedings have been really challenging. And something that I've been thinking about during this time is how even those who share those challenges with us recognize that it's just a phase. And I'm trying as hard as I can to be present for this phase, for this season. And I think that's something that's true for all of us spiritually, is that we go through seasons of life. There are times in our lives where perhaps we're starting a new job, or we are taking on a new project, or we're entering into a new relationship, or there is something really challenging and difficult about a relationship, maybe that is with a spouse or with a friend or with a coworker or with a child, that is really difficult. And sometimes those difficult moments last for many years, or maybe they last for months, but they almost always are a season. They have a specific time, and then things change and develop, and you enter into a new season of life. And so I think what is really important is always to learn how to be present for that particular season, even if it is a challenging and difficult one, to know that this too shall pass. We know that phrase. And being able to navigate through that, knowing that things do change rapidly and they shift quickly. Speaking of seasons, this is actually stewardship season as well until June 5th. And this is a really, really important part of every year when we put together our budget for the next fiscal year. And at Claremont UCC, our fiscal year goes from July 1 all the way until June 30th. And so we're coming to a close, putting together our budget for next year. And what is important for everyone to know is that our budget, everything that we fund as a ministry, is only based on the pledges that we receive from people in the church. And so if we don't get enough pledges, then we have to reduce what we're budgeting. And if we get some extra pledges, that allows us to consider what new ministries we might be able to start. But everything is based entirely on the pledges that we receive. And we're on a tight timeline this year to get everything to the congregation in time for our annual meeting, because the church votes on that budget and accepts it. And so we really need all of our pledges by June 5th. Our Stewardship and Finance Board is going to start reaching out to people starting on Monday. So if you would like to relieve yourself of receiving a call from them, I just really encourage you to either go on our website and click on Make a Pledge on the homepage, send in the pledge card that you received, or you can fill out a pledge card on Sunday at church. So online or in person, you can fill out a pledge card. And hoping that she can allow me to talk she's already saying, "Quiet, Dad." But hopefully she lets me talk for just a little bit more, because I do want to reflect just on some current events that have happened while I've been on parental leave. Something that's definitely in the news is the leaked potential decision from the Supreme Court that would overturn Roe versus Wade. I do believe that people of faith are on all sides and along the spectrum of what we call pro-choice or pro-life. I myself believe very strongly, just my personal opinion, in a woman's ability to be able to have full control over her reproductive choices. And I personally, scientifically, don't think that a fetus or an embryo is considered what I would call life until it is viable outside the womb. So that's my opinion. Happy to talk with folks. But what I think is extremely important, and what we do as people of faith, is to ensure that we are supporting life at every stage. And so something that comes to my mind, I think about the fact that the governor of Texas made a declaration that he didn't want formula during the shortage to be given to people who are coming into the United States who are undocumented. And that really was kind of the height of hypocrisy for me, is just that we don't starve babies because of their documentation status. Even though there is a shortage and it's really difficult, we work together to find solutions without deciding some people are in and some people are out. We have to be able to support life regardless of what that life looks like or the documentation of that life. And so for me, that's something that we do as a church, that we think of what are ways that we can support all life, babies and adults, by things like, increasing minimum wage, creating better education equity. And so that, I hope, is part of our conversation in the midst of discussing this really important topic. Something else, of course, is the tragedy of the act of a racialized violence against the Black community in Buffalo. We have to keep talking about common sense gun reform. We have to keep looking at the fact that these talking heads on television, and even you and me, our silence is complicity. That's why we have to keep speaking out and saying that, yes, we still have systemic and individualized racism in this country that we have to address. It is such a tragedy. And so, as people of faith, we do pray, but our prayers always lead us into further action. And so I hope that you will continue to pray for the people of Buffalo, pray for war sites like Ukraine and around the world. I'm going to start putting together kind of a service that's kind of going to be like a requiem for peace, just to address the constant warfare we have in this world. But I hope you'll think about these things with me. The sermon on Sunday is going to invite us to be radical dreamers. Just like my namesake in the Bible, Jacob, we're going to be looking at his story and thinking about ways in which we can wrestle with God in this world and to dream big dreams about what we can do as a church and as a society. So I hope that you will join me on Sunday. I am so looking forward to being with all of you again in the worship service. I'll see you then.